My service has failed to start. Let me see which one can I use. And 18 is 110, right? Let me use 2013 R2. This is 2013 R2. Let me see whether I can restart the service. Yeah, I think it is already running. Okay. This is not good. Yeah? So 2018 is 11. That is wrong. Dynamics now. Okay. This is the wrong database. Okay, I think let me use your computer. Save time. I'm going to first disconnect and I'm going to switch to another computer.
Okay.
Um, 2018, yeah. This is the database you use? Okay. Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, we do.
Sorry for that delay. I had some challenges with my computer, but I'm using another computer and we should be good to start. So today we are going to be looking at some curl statements and functions. So to start with, we are going to start with the curl statements. And I'm going to just create a new code unit to work with. So I'll go to the code unit section, click new. Oh.
Emma, your screen is not shared as well.
Okay, is there any position to see my screen?
Not yet.
And the volume is it this? Hope you can see my screen.
Yes, we do.
Can you see my screen?
Yeah, we do.
Okay. How can I increase the volume here? It is already 100%. All right. So to create, I'm going to create a new code unit to work with. So I'll go to File, New, and I'll save this as my test code unit, and I'll give it an ID, 50,000. 3? Do you have 3 already? Let me say 50,004. So we are going to look at the curl statements. Now, we managed to look at the if statement, and you all know what the if statement does. For example, if I have a variable here, maybe x, which is an integer, in the if I can say if x is maybe greater than 10, then I execute something here. Okay, I do my execution just here. So that's how the if statement. That's how it works. You just put if a given condition, then you execute the statement down there. Then we also have the if else. For the if else, you can say if maybe, let me use another variable. I can call it age. So I can say maybe if age is greater than 18, then I can put my message. You can take a beer. Else, here we don't terminate. Yeah? It is still one statement. Else, you execute another condition. Below 18 years. So that's how the if else is used. That's how we use the if else statement. And then another statement that we can have, there are cases whereby you may want to stop execution of a program. So for example, if somebody, if I say age is less than 18, then I can click exit. So this will terminate that. It will ensure that the program stops at this point. In other words, if I have my if this condition is true, then the program will not continue. So there are scenarios where we use this, whereby you will see when we start developing our student application, we shall have something like this: if confirm, or if somebody does, you know the not, if not confirm. You can put here something like, are you sure you want to execute or to delete this blah blah blah, then exit, something like. So this means that if not confirm, in other words, if somebody does not confirm to this dialog box, then stop the termination of the program. So that is one scenario where we shall be using the exit statement. And then there are other statements that we can use, like the case. I know you've used the case before. So now this one, I'm going to give you, our first assignment will be to you to come up with a scenario whereby we have the case statement. When do we use the case statement? If you have more than 2 conditions, it is not good to say if, then else, then else, then else, then else. No, if you have more than 2 conditions, you can use the case statement. So you will see how the case statement is used in nav. How do we comment code in nav? So if I want to comment a single block, I use forward slashes. Are these forward or backward? Forward. Forward. So if I'm commenting a single block, I can use that as the comment. Even the color changes. If I want to comment multiple lines, I use, how do we call this? I use curve braces to comment multiple lines. There are cases whereby you want to keep track of your comments. So in such cases, you can comment within a what? So here I'm just keeping, meaning that I first commented out to this, then I also commented out to this. So here, this is like a nested comment. This normally helps you if you want to keep track of maybe this is something that you will revise later on. You can just put something there and then you go on commenting. So in most cases, as developers, we don't advise you to delete your code. Yeah, if your code is not working and you spent a lot of time writing it, first comment it out. Yeah, don't delete it, because after deleting, you may realize that what you deleted was right. So that's how you do multiple comments, and we also have a single comments. Then we have arrays. Who can tell us what is an array? I know you've heard of arrays before, isn't it? Yeah. So what is an array? Yes, a group of elements with the same data type. So, for example, if I want to, if I have like 10 students and I want to keep their age in an array, instead of coming here under cal globals and I say this is age 1, then age 2, age 3, I can simply make this age, and then under the properties, I specify the dimensions. Yeah? Now, if I say that this will take 10, this 10 becomes the number of elements in this array. So if I come back here, if I do, if age is greater than 18, then what do you expect? Let me just, I already have the statement up there. If I come here and I say if age is greater than 18 and I try to save, do you expect it to save? No, because we've made this an array. So how do we access elements in an array? We use square brackets. Which index should we start with for an array? Now, array in nav start with 1. They don't start with 0. If I put 0 here, I was expecting an error. If I say my age is equal to, age 0 is equal to, so let me just try to run this and see. If I try to run, will it give me a runtime error? Do I need to first close? Yes. It has opened another instance. Okay, so it is a runtime error. So we remember we looked at compile time errors and runtime errors. So this is a runtime error, index out of bounds. So arrays in nav start with 1. Yeah, I know in other programming languages we start with 0, but for nav arrays start with with 1. So if I do something like that, this should be good to go. This should, you are below 18 years. So arrays in nav start with, are you sure you want to delete this? Okay. So those are arrays. We have the array name, then you access, this is the first element of an array, and then the 10th element of this array will be 10, yeah, like that. So that's how we use arrays in nav, or rather in car. So I want you to do, in chapter 6, there is a demo on page number 12. I want you to try out that, and then you will send me an object just for that demo. So I want these demos to be separated, because yesterday I saw some people don't do some demos. So this will be, you send me independent objects for that demo. Then we have a lab on chapter 6, page 12. And then on that same page, there's also a lab 6.1. You also try that. Dimensions, we can have 1-dimension array and up to 10-dimension arrays. Now for those, I'm not going to talk about them. You will read and see how you can do that. So there are cases whereby you want to find the length of an array. So we have a function that returns an integer. So let me just declare a variable here called length. And just under here, to find the length of an array, I use a function called array length. So this one, as you can see, I take an array as a what? As a parameter. So here my array is age. If I save that, that will return the length of an array. So if I just try to message, given that this is an integer format length, and I run this, my array has 10 elements. So that's how you find the length of an array. Okay. Another scenario. So we shall see when to use such functions. For example, I may have a for loop, but I don't know how long my array is. So I can start from maybe 1 up to array length. Okay. Array length, meaning that if the length of that array increases, I don't need to go back to my code and change that loop. So I will just comment out this. So another, we are going to look at now how do we spell if statements? I know you already know this, but we are going to see how they work in now. So the first one is a for loop. Okay. The first one is a for loop. When do we use a for loop? We use a for loop if we want to iterate given statements for a given number of known timers. For example, if I want to iterate a given statement 10 timers, I can do for I. I don't know why programmers like using I and J, but I also follow that. If I is equal to 0 to maybe to 5, then we put it then if I is equal to 10, to that, do this. I can put now my statements there. So here I can message my I is %1, then isn't it? If I have more statements, I can also put them there. So this is the for loop. So you find yourself, if you want to do an iteration, a known number of times, I is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so that's how you iterate. That's how we use a for loop. Another scenario that we have is a while loop. Okay, how do we use a while loop? So first of all, for a while loop, the difference between a for loop and a while loop is, for a while loop, you have to first test for a condition. Okay, so
Mag, I have a question.
while I is greater than 5, do begin. Okay, then you put your statements there and you end. So here, if I put my I equal to maybe 7, then here I can message my I. Okay, and then will this loop end? This will be an endless loop, isn't it? So meaning that here I can do. Now I'm going to introduce something that I know you are familiar with. You've seen that. Okay, you've seen that, isn't it? It is the same as saying I is equal to I minus 1. You always forget this. Even down where? Here? No. This is the same as this. I'm not initializing. This is okay. Maybe just in my comment it should be like this, but here it is okay. So if I do something while I is less than 5, then I can perform a given statement here, and my while loop will run. So the while loop, can I insert a cable in this? I can't. Inside? It looks to be small. I don't think you can. Have you ever inserted it before? Okay. Let us, my network is not okay, but I know it will. So that is the while loop. Then we have another statement called repeat until. We have another statement called repeat until. So you can have some statements here. Maybe I is equal to 5. Then here I can say repeat. Okay. Then I put something to repeat here. Let me say I plus 1. Then until I is equal to 10. There's no space here. Okay. So I think that I have my I is equal to 5. Then I have a repeat. Then I do that. Then until I is equal to 10. So you find these repetitive statements being used in nav. Yeah. So it is good to know how they work. So if I run this, Did I message? I didn't, yeah? So there is nothing I expect. So here I can just say a message I is %I. Then I put my variable there. Oh, %1. So if I run this, I is 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and then it is out. So that is, yes?
According to the logic, isn't it very similar to a while loop? What's the difference between the repeat statement and a while loop?
So the difference between a repeat statement and a while loop is that the while loop first tests for a given condition. So when we are using a while loop, we first test, okay? That is the only difference. While I is greater than, or while I is equal to, or while I is greater than 5, then do something and then end. And that is the, but this one we don't first test for a given condition. You will find that when you want to use a while, you want to first test for a given condition. Whereas now for this one, you don't need to test for a given condition. You can set your filters up there, as we shall see when we reach on filters, and then you can put the statements that you want to repeat. But for the while, you need to first set a condition. Now, I want you to try, there is a demo, chapter 6 on page 36. So you send me these as independent objects. A demo on chapter 6, demo in chapter 6, page 36. Then we also have, in most cases, you find a with statement being used. Now, there are scenarios, for example, if I come here, we created a student table, isn't it? We created a student table in our first demos. So here I can say a student dot, that's how I access the fields. Student dot, we had number is equal to, maybe I can give it a number, student 001. I put what? Full colons here. So this is a code, yeah? We put it in what? Then I can say student dot first name is equal to maybe John. Then student dot last name is equal to, so like that, yeah? Now you may find that there are scenarios whereby your code looks ugly each time I'm repeating student, student dot, student dot, student dot, isn't it? So if I have over 10 variables, I'm saying student dot, student dot. So I may not want to do such. And in such scenarios, you use what we call a with statement. Use a with statement. So I can say with student, okay, do begin and end, okay? I can do something like that. Now here, instead of doing this, I no longer need to do what? To include students here. So the with statement, we know that I'm talking about the student. So this looks to be smarter than this. So in most cases, once you are referencing a variable, you can use the with statement. This normally works with record variables. Record variable. Instead of saying student dot number, student dot first name, student dot what, you can simply say with student. Then you put these.
I have a question.
Yes.
Sometimes you are not put the do and other times you don't put the do. So when do you do and when do you use?
Sometimes I put a do and sometimes I don't.
There is some statements.
Like,
They follow.
yes.
For I was 1 to 10 begin. They didn't put it.
For I did. For I is equal, yeah, is equal to 1 to maybe 10. Do begin.
Okay. And now, okay, in the if you didn't put it.
No, if you don't need a do.
So how do you know which one is a do and which one?
There's no criteria to follow, but as you program in Cal, you will get to know which statements require a do and which ones don't. This is like the syntax. This is like the way the program language was structured. But as you start using it, you will know when to use a do. But most of the repetitive statements, you require a do. Do begin, yeah. Repetitive statement like while, for. With is not repetitive, but it also requires a do. In most cases, once you, if I do something like that, it will tell you, yeah, do should come here. So meaning that this requires a what? A do. So that's how we use a with statement. So now we are going to look at the call functions. And I know we've already talked about functions. Okay. Functions are mainly subprograms or subroutines that you can call in your main program. So an example of a function, I can have my variable here. Maybe I can call it total cost. No, this is a variable. I'm in the variable section. Okay? Isn't it? So this is total cost. And then I can have another variable maybe called quantity. I can make this integer. Then here in the functions, I can have a function called calculate. Price. Okay. Now, if I come back here, this is my function. So I can say my total cost is equal to quantity times calculate price. So it will call this function down here. Type conversion not possible. Integer times void. Integer times void. So meaning that this must return something, isn't it? So if I come here to call functions, I can say that my price, we go to the locals and we say it returns a decimal. So that does not return void. So you see the return type is what? It's decimal. So if I save this again, the error has disappeared. So right now you know what we mean by a local function and a global function.
Sometimes when you're returning, for example, there you return decimal. Sometimes you also put the name of the return type.
Yes, you can also put the name of the return type.
What would you put the name of the return type?
You may want your return type to be stored in a variable. So in such cases, you declare a variable and you put the name of that return type.
So can you access that return variable in the on run?
No, here when you are exiting, you will exit with that return variable that you've declared here after calculating the price. We shall look at more examples to elaborate that. But here I have my total cost, calculate price, and then this is the function declaration. Then here you can write the function definition. Okay. And if you look at this function is local, meaning that it can only be accessed within this code unit. But if I want to access it out, right now, if I go outside this code unit, and I go maybe to another code unit or another table called student, and I try to declare. We know we can declare a code unit, isn't it? I can declare a code unit. And what was the name of our code unit?
My test CU.
My test CU. Okay. Now, if I declare this code unit, if I come here, maybe on insert, and I say my test CU, and I put a dot, the only function I can see is run. But in case I want to access another function, what do? The other function of calculate price, I make it global. So I'll go to my code unit, design this. This is local. So to make it global, you go to view, cal globals, you go to functions, you click on it, you look at the properties. Local is yes, you make it no. Okay. So if I close this and I save, the local word has disappeared. So if I come back to my table, any other object, and I go to the code of that object, I can, let me just remove this debugger. We shall look at debugging later on. So here I can now say my test code unit dot. You see, now it is available. It is available. I can call it from this. So that is the scope. Once you make it global, you can access it in any other object. But if it is local, it is only accessible within that object. We can have functions in an expression. So here I have this is an expression. So I have my function in an expression. At the same time, I can have a function call in a statement. I can have something like this. If quantity is greater than maybe 10, then you execute my what? My function. So here I have my function as in a statement. This is an if statement, isn't it? Then this is an expression.
You don't have to put them in brackets.
No, here we don't have brackets. If you have multiple statements, you use a begin and
No, I'm saying on calculate price.
on. Okay, the brackets you can put, but you can put the brackets, but if I'm not passing any parameters, even if I don't put, but to make it consistent, you can put the braces rather than brackets. But I know I put brackets if I'm going to pass some parameters. But you can put them, there is no problem. Either way, it will compile and it will run. So we know parameters, we know expressions. This you can send an expression as a parameter in a function. For example, if calculate price is taking quantity and maybe, okay, I'm assuming if my function here is taking some parameters, by now I know how you can pass parameters. So maybe it is taking a parameter for quantity. Okay. Quantity. This is an integer. And are you seeing how we have the parameter? Some people, you find someone trying to type here. We don't type parameters here. This is done in other programming languages. Here, when we are passing parameters, we go through this view, cal, globals, and then I know some people, if you are used to other programming languages, you come here and you say, why isn't it not responding? So you don't pass it from here. You go up and you declare your parameter. So here, in my calculate price, if I have my quantity and maybe the quantity is also computed from a given expression, I can come here and I say maybe my quantity is maybe 3 times. Will this work? Oh, I have two functions. Let me comment out this. So are you seeing this? This is an expression, okay? So you can have expressions being passed as parameters in your function. You can have a single value there. Maybe you are passing 6 as quantity, but at the same time you can have a given expression being passed as parameters to the function. So that's how you can pass expressions as parameters. So you find functions like finding the square root, whereby you need to first compute the side length, then you do power 3. So in such cases, you can pass those as expressions. You can pass the expressions as parameters. Now, something that I need you to tell me tomorrow when we meet, I want you to find the difference between passing a parameter as a value and passing a parameter by reference, the difference between those two. And I want you to give me an example in nav. How do we pass a parameter, pass by value and pass by a reference? Okay. How do we pass? I know you've seen this in other programming languages. And what is the difference? So we shall have, you will give, one person will present, you discuss, then one person will tell us. You remind me in case I forget, yeah, about it. Then we have what we call formal and actual parameters. A formal parameter now, like this constant, is a formal parameter. Then the actual parameters that I'm passing are these values, okay? So actual parameters are used when a function is called, whereas formal parameters are just declared in the function definition. So this is a formal parameter, and then this is an actual parameter. Then we have some built-in functions. I know we've already looked at some built-in functions, isn't it? You give me a function that we've looked at that is built-in. We've looked copy string, yes. Length, was it length? Max string length. We've looked at quite a number of functions. Message, yes. Array len. So all these are what? Inbuilt functions. Yeah? You don't need to define them. You just use them. You don't need to worry about the function definition. How does it work? You don't need to know. So you just pass your parameters, and then it will give you results. So among the string parameters that we have, rather the string functions that are inbuilt, we have the message. We've used that before. We have the max string length. Have we looked at this? Yes, we have the max string length. We have the copy string. Have we looked at clear? Are you sure? Are you sure we've not looked at clear? Remember when we did one's first name is not equal to, if student number is blank, then clear the full name. Do you remember that? So we also have clear. If you want to know all these functions, you can come to the curl symbol menu, then go to the system, okay? Now here I have string. Let me just go back. I go to the curl symbol menu. I can press F5, then go to system. I have this is a string. So I increment string, copy string, there's pad string, and as you click on them, they are showing you down here how to use that function. For example, if I click on delete this string where which checksum, so in most cases you find yourself, if you want to perform something on a string, you come here and you export the function and you may find a good function to use. We have numeric, functions. So I want you to find how to use the round function. This is also part of the assignment, because now this one will be used very frequently. The round, how do we round up? How do we round down? How do we round to the nearest? So if you look here in this, it has round, takes a number, precision, how many decimal places you want to round to, and then the direction. The direction, you can have greater sign, less sign, or equal sign. So all you need to find out, if I put a greater sign as a direction, am I rounding up or rounding down? If I put a less sign, then we have ABS, which is the absolute. Absolute, if I have a negative, it becomes. Then I have power. Then I have randomize. Then I have random. So in case we want to, so all these are, I have date functions. Okay, we shall look at date functions that are on operating system functions. And there are cases whereby if you are emailing payslips, for example, we have a payroll system, If you are emailing payslips as attachments, you need to first save them as PDF somewhere. So you can use this temporary path to access a given temporary path on the server, whereby you save your email, your payslips as PDFs. Then in your email function, you pick from that temporary path and then send them to the employees. So this is also a useful function. We have array functions. We've looked at array length. So I want you to find out what the compress array and the copy array. Okay, what these ones are used for. And then we have variable functions. We've looked at clear. We also have clear all and others. So those are some of the system functions. And then we have dialog functions. I don't know whether I can find it here. Dialog functions. We've seen message. It is a dialog function. Have we looked at error? We have error. What about confirm? Yes, we have string menu. Now, do you know that thing that appears when you try to post, then tells you receive, invoice, receive, and invoice? Yes. So that is a string menu. We shall look at a given example on how to use this string menu. Or should I give it to you as an assignment? Yes, you will explore how to use a string menu. It is very easy. The parameters are here: option string, the default one, and then the instruction. Maybe just to show you, if I come here, the good thing with nav, if I come again to string menu, it is telling me that I must have option string, I must have a default, and the instruction, isn't it? So if I come here and I do my cal globals, the return type will be an option. Then I have some option string. This will be an integer. So here, if I come and I say my option that I'm returning, before that, let me say option string. And I say, what are the options I want? Maybe invoice. Which options do we have? Ship. We have receive, invoice, invoice. POI, invoice. Then we had something like receive and invoice. So that is the option string. Now this function returns an option, meaning that it can be this, or that. Option strings are separated by commas. So here I can come and I say my option that I've selected, str menu. Okay, I'm passing my option string, which is this. And the second parameter is a default value, and then the instruction. Here, the option string I'm passing is called op string. The default value, if I want it to default to receive, that is the first option, and then the instruction. Option string start with, they start with 0. Okay, we are going to see that. What do you want? This is the instruction, yeah? What do you want to do? So if I select, then let me just message the option of what I've selected. You get it? Okay. What is it saying?
The data type of option supposed to be
Of option.
yes.
Which this one? Now this returns option number. Eh? It is an integer. Oh, this is supposed to be a string, yeah? So view, cal globals, option string. This is supposed to be. Let me make it text. So if I save this, but in real programming cases, you can say if option is equal to maybe receive, which is receive. You say it starts with 0, then you execute something there. Else, if option is equal to 1, then begin. If somebody selects invoice, then you write some code that does what that invoice says, isn't it? So that's how, but here I'm not going to go through all this. I just want to demo how the option string is working. So what do we expect to be in our message? Okay, we shall select and see. So if I run this, okay, our default was 0. So you've seen this thing somewhere, isn't it? When you are reading the application, where once you post it tells you which option, receive, invoice, receive an invoice. Okay, so this is how it is programmed. Okay, we use a string menu. What do you want to do? This is the instruction. These are my option strings. Then here, if I select this, it will now go to in my if and to execute what I have under receive. If I click on invoice and I say okay, it is going to message what? Which option string? Number 1, number 2. Are we still together? Remember, now I want us to know what is going to. Let me just go back to the code. I'm saying this message, it is going to message something, yeah? The default is 1. That's why once I ran it for the first time, it displayed what?
But when we're running options, we start from 0, 0, 1, 2. So this one is very different.
Okay, I see. This is an option string. There are two. This is this is not an. It is an option string. Yeah. In other words, this is like text. It is yes, it is different from the other options. This is not. I have the first option of this color. This is just. This is an option string. It is totally different. It is totally different from the other one.
When it starts from 1, then to the
Yes.
So options start from 1 to 3. Then option strings start from 0, 1 to 2.
What have we observed here? When I say my default as 1, it will default to receive. If I put my default as 2 and I save. Okay, before I run it again, I wanted to know if I click receive an invoice and I say okay, that is option number what? Number 3. So they start with 1, 2, like that, yeah? Now, this was supposed to be your assignment. but I'm doing it for you. So here we have the string menu. We shall see how we can utilize it in our application. Now remember, my default was 2, so that's why it comes like that. So there is a system that I developed that integrates with mobile money, whereby when a client is posting, they had 4 options. The first one was, if you are sending money, do you want to include tax? You know, mobile money, there is that tax they charge. So if I'm giving you 10,000, should I include the tax percentage? 10,000. Then another option was include withdrawal charges. Another option was include tax and withdrawal charges. So meaning that as somebody clicks send to mobile money, they have to select which option to choose. So the default was none, but they had to choose which, and you cannot proceed without selecting an option. So you find that as you program, there are scenarios whereby you need to use these functions. Okay. Did it display 0? Because I clicked cancel, meaning that whatever you put here, if you had put some code here and the 0, it is what will be executed, yeah? When you cancel. If you don't have 0, then it will stop there, it won't proceed. So those are some of the inbuilt functions, and you will, to make your application look nice, so you need to know this function. Now, like that option string, if you get a scenario whereby you need an option from someone before they proceed, yeah? For example, in our student, actually let us have thought about an assignment. Our student application we are developing, I want you to add a field for class, okay, on the student card. I want you to add a field for class, and then that field should be uneditable. Should be uneditable. So once I create a new student, the default class should be senior 1. Then I want you to create an action on the ribbon on the student card called promote. Promote. And once you click promote, I want to have an option string whereby I have promote. If I'm in senior 1, I want to see an option string with senior 1, senior 2, senior 3. The way you see receive, invoice, receive, and invoice. I want to see senior 1, senior 2 as my options. Okay. Should I make it complicated? From senior 1, can I go directly to senior 6?
No.
Okay, let me first keep it simple. Don't implement that, but if I select senior 2, I want now you to modify that field that is uneditable. Once I click on promote and I click on senior 2, I want you to go to that card in your car code. You modify, we're going to see how to use the modify function. You modify and you change it to the option that I've selected.
So the person can jump from senior to senior.
For now, we are going to just for testing purposes, but later on, as we develop logic, we shall also test for such scenarios. For now, let us just whichever option I select, my class updates. All I need to see here is that do you know how to use the option string, the option menu. So in the instruction you can.
Senior 2 and one promote, senior 1.
Yes, for now we can do all that, yeah, but we shall improve it with time, because now if I tell you to make those checks, you may take we have only one night, yeah, we have only this evening, so I don't want to have incomplete work. For now, let us just make it. You can promote any value, but I'm going to show you how you will use the modify and other to make such modification. Is the assignment clear?
Yes.
Okay, so let us look at some data access functions. How do we access data? Now, in most cases, as we program, you will need to access data, okay? To start with, let me run my student table here. So my student table, these are the students that I have, okay? Grace, Amber, Emmanuel, Gilbert, Mohammed. These are the students that I have in my student table. So if I want to access the first student, how do I do that? Let me go to my code unit here. How do I access the first student? Let me just delete these other functions. F4. Okay, how do I access? In other programming languages like SQL, once you want to access a query, what do you do? Select star from student where number is equal to, what is our number there? If that number is in a variable, you can just put where number is equal to student what? Number. So this is how you write SQL statements, isn't it? Now, things are very easy, okay? So for example, if I say my student number is, let me just pick a number from this table. If I say my student number is this, 2000, okay? This should be a variable. View cal globals, I can put a variable called student and this is a code. There is a full stop. Code to integer. So, code string variables, we put them in what? So if I put a space in my variable name, then I have to enclose it in what? You get it?
Yesterday we had a problem. When you don't put those double quotations. Okay, can you explain those problem?
It was a general problem.
Okay, you see how you have student number, but there is space between student and number. Yesterday when we were trying to do that, but on the global, on the cal global, when I had space, I think it was last date modified, and there was space between last and date and modified. But the system would not accept me to put last date modified, even in double quotes. It would give me an error.
Do you remember that error?
It would, I don't remember.
Okay, I think you will, once you encounter it, if you can simulate that error, you can share it with me on Teams, and I look at it.
Okay. The other thing was that if you don't put those quotation marks, but remove the space, so it's student number without space, it would work.
Yeah, it would work.
Okay, each time you have a space and also this full stop here, even if I don't have space, but I have a full stop in my variable name, because remember a dot is like dot this, so to make it a variable I need, because if I have a dot and I don't, it will think that I'm accessing a variable. This is a record variable, and it is expecting maybe student number dot first name, something like that. So if I try to save it, it will complain. Telling that I'm training.
Yeah, no.
Oh, it has come. Hi, Mark. Nothing. I just didn't get my phone. Okay, I need to have it.
No, it's not true. Remember when you asked me, so you think about I'm not accept it. And it can replace it. It's a question. Then when you put it, when you put that two last step
Okay. Variables, if you have space or if you have a dot, you have to put it in double quotes. So we want to do, how do we do this select? So in nav, first of all, I have to declare a record variable. Okay, to access this, I have to declare a record variable. We know how to declare record variables. Record student. Okay, it's not. It doesn't mean that necessarily it has to be this name. You can give it any other name. Yeah, but given that I'm accessing student, it will be bad for me to call it what? Customizing it. I'll be bringing confusion. But the system won't deny that. Yeah, you will be in position to work with it. So I'll just leave it as student. Now, if I want to access a single record, I can say student dot get. Then I pass a primary key. Which value am I getting? Student what? Student number. So what did I change? View call globals. Let me just put my space again. So this what you see here is equivalent to that. Okay. Then here I can say maybe message the selected student is %1 %2. Then I say student dot first name comma student dot first name. So what do you expect us to see?
Student is present.
Student of get.
Yeah.
Primary key is student.
Yes, the primary key is student what? Is student number. And this 2000, the primary key is number. If I look at this table, the primary key is what? Is number, but I'm getting this number and I'm storing it. This is the number I'm getting. And I'm storing it in a variable code. In other words, this student number here I have is just a variable holding the number from the other table. So that's why here I'm saying student.get student number. And that number is the number, this number from this what? From this. Okay, so if I message now this, if I run my code unit, you can see the selected student is So that's how you access a single record. Then we also have find. We have find. We shall look at find after looking at how we set range and filters, but I can come here and I say student.
Wait, what happens if you don't find any student with that right now?
What do you expect? I know this number is not there.
Not found.
So the system will throw an exception. The student does not exist. Identification number is that. The values of the number is this. So the student is not there. So that is what happens. Okay. So we've seen the select, how you can retrieve a single record. If I have two keys, like in the line table, then I have to pass. For example, if I want to access the other one was the score line, yeah. So I can have something like this: score line dot get. The first key was the document number, and then the second one was line number, and they must be in that order. Okay. So here I can have my document number set to something, and then also my number set to a given value. This is how you retrieve but get will only retrieve a single what? A single record. Okay, so that is get. Another data access function we have is find. So if I do student dot find, what do we expect? Yes.
I think return to everyone. Because
Let us run and see. The student number does not exist. It is not seeing anything, because I have no filters set. We shall see how to use the find later on and other functions. But with find, we have other thing. We have find. You can find first. This will find the first student, isn't it? Student dot find first. Let me say, what is my home? If student dot find first, then message this. So what do you expect? Expect Grace. Let me see that. The student is what? Grace. So that's how you find the first record, yeah? What if I say find last? If student dot find last, if I go back to my table, what was my last record? It is taking long. So the last record has no name, isn't it? And I'm displaying the names. So let me just delete this and I make this to be my last record. So if I come back here and I run, you see? So we looked at secondary keys, and what did we say secondary keys do? Sorry? So if I click here on the first name, yeah? The first person is who? Basing on the first name. So if I come to my table and I say that I have a secondary key called first what? First name, okay? Then in my data manipulation code unit, my data access code unit, if I find first, I expect Grace, isn't it? Oh. If I find first, what if I do student dot set current key? Okay, and I set the current key to first name. What student do I expect? Who will be the first student? Amber. Let us try that and see. Are you seeing? Let's say student is what? I'm still finding first, but what is making this to change is I have a secondary key and I'm setting my current key to be the first name. So that's what determines the sorting of this.
What if we do it without first setting
the secondary key? That is a very good question. Let us try it out. If I go to view Carl globals, view Carl, view keys, right? I'm in the wrong table. Eh? I should be on the student table. I go to view keys. I remove this. After removing this, my code unit is that. If I run again, so it is still working. It is still working. But it is always good practice to put it as a secondary key. I know maybe it improves the performance or something, especially if you have a large chunk of data. Then another, we've seen find last. Another option we have is the find set. Is the find set. What do you guess? Find set, what will it do? Angie. Find set. What is a set? Let us start. So find set should retrieve everything, yeah? So find set is normally used in combination with the repeat until. Find set is normally used in combination with a repeat until. So you find set, then you repeat traversing those. We saw how the repeat until works. So if I run this, are you seeing? Because my current key is still. So still on the assignment, I want you to use the find. I want you to add an action, and I want you to use this find set. and as you are finding set, I want you to which field can we modify? Anyway, I will come up with that assignment later on. But that's how the find set is being used.
How is repeat until different from while?
I've explained that this is going to be the second time. Who remembers what I said?
Repeat until.
This is
You need the condition. Repeat until you don't.
Is he the same person who asked?
You use repeat until when you need the code to run at least once.
Repeat until.
At least once.
The repeat until.
Yes.
Are you sure?
Repeat until.
Repeat until is
Don't check for. You don't need to have
The difference that we said between a repeat until and a while is that a while first checks for condition. If a given condition is met, then do what you want to do. But repeat until will not check for the condition. Repeat until if my filters are met, yeah. For example, here I have student. If don't met, I find this, it will continue looping. Hello. Bade cyane ka training nayo muranyura gikuza ngaka. So that is the repeat until. Then there are scenarios whereby you only want to retrieve the first record. Okay. So here in the find set, yeah, I can also use if find first. If find first, then repeat. Still it will work, but this will affect the performance. This will, because I'm finding a first record, then repeating, finding the next.
Wait, how are you repeating, finding the next? I thought when you find the first record, then you're done.
No, because I have a repeat until.
But repeat will not run the student.find first.
You see, if I say if student.find first, then repeat. So this entire thing will be repeated. Meaning that if the first student, let me just run it for you. But it is always good to use the find set if you want to retrieve more. However, you may find code which is written like this. Eh? So this also still, it will work very well, but the only challenge is that it will take a lot of time because you are finding one record at a time. Whereas the other one, you find the entire set and then you look through it. This will also work. So the first one is Grace. It will also loop through, but its challenge is that it is finding one record at a time, whereas the find set will find all the records at once and then it will do the looping. Although the code may look similar, but the other find set, if you're retrieving very many records, it makes the performance good. Then there are scenarios where you want to only find only the first record. You're interested in only the first. You can also use something like this. If I'm only interested in if I'm only interested in only the first, I can use find first like this. If I'm only interested in only the first record, I can use find first like that. If student.find first, that will, when I'm interested in only the first record. If I'm only interested in the last record alone, I use find last. But in case I want to use first and I want to look through all the records, I can use this. That is also the same as find first, but this is useful when you want to repeat. This is useful when you want to repeat until next is 0. And if I want to find last, I can use a plus, yeah? If student.find last, then
That will return all of them.
yes, to also return all of them.
But from the last one.
What is our last one? Who remembers our last one? Mohammed. So let us run and see. Okay. It is starting from. Oh, because I said until next is 0, yeah? So
That's it, until previous.
So I said until next is 0. So that's why it has only displayed Mohammed. So you explore those. And as you write code, you find that these are very useful. We have sorting and filtering. How do we sort? We've seen the set current key, what it does. It will sort, yeah, isn't it? The set current key. Remember that function? I had to set the current key on the first name, and we saw Amber being the first. So another function that can be useful is the set range. So if I come here, student.set range, so I have the field, yeah? The field what? The field is the first parameter, so I can sum setting range on the number, and then I specify which fields I want to filter. So I can say maybe numbers that start from 1002. We have 2000 there.
Yes.
So after setting my range there, I can now say if student dot find set, then message my name is %1 %2 student dot first name student dot last name. Okay, let me just find set is used in conjunction with a repeat until student dot next is equal to 0. Are you seeing that? So what do we expect? I'm setting my range to this. I'm filtering. This is like a where clause, yeah? Where this is equal to this, from this to this. So this is a where clause. So what do we expect before I run this? If I run my table, just to see the students that are there, do I have 1000? No, so meaning that, let me say from 1000 up to maybe 3000. So here in the code, if I go back to my code unit, design it, I say up to 3000. So I expect how many records? 2 records. So if I come here and I run this, my name is Grace and my name is Amber. I have no other name, and then it is out, yeah? Because I've filtered using my set range. So there are scenarios whereby you may not specify the to value. So if you look at the set range, it takes the from value and the to value. Are you seeing this? The parameters, it takes a field, the from value and the to value. So if I don't specify the to value, what will it give me? Are you sure? Will it give me everything? But I'm setting range on a given field. How can it give me everything? Set range filters. Yes. Hello? Will it give me everything? Yes or no? Colin, what do you think?
I think it will return only that.
Yes, it will return only that one, because Set range is filtering. So if I filter only that one, then it will only give me that one. The other time I filtered two values, the from value and the to value. But here I'm saying from this, and I have no end. So it will filter to that value. Yeah? So let me run this. Is it running? So if I run this, so what have we agreed on? Will it give me everything or one value? Are you sure one value? Let us be sure. Hmm? Ah, it is not showing anything.
We don't have the number 1000.
Hey. Wow, that is a good observation. We don't have 1000, yeah? So you were all wrong. Somebody said one value, other one nothing. So if I put a number that we have here, so it will give us, grace, eh? And it will be out. So that is the set range. If you don't if you specify only one value, it will give you only that. And we have set filter. So set filter is almost the same as set range. Set filter is almost the same as set range, but the only difference is that the set filter is a very, how should I call it, is very strong. Eh? I can say student number, I can put greater than percent 1, and I put, so what do we expect there? The difference between set filter and set range is that set range, you can have expressions, or you can have, how should we call this? You can have comparisons, you can have those things. Eh? So for example, if I say student.set filter greater than, remember percent 1 is a placeholder, and this is this. So how many students should I expect? 5, yeah? So if I run this, there is no 1, but we are saying greater than. Should I go back to the code? Where number is greater than this, so it has to bring all the people in the list because their numbers are greater than that. So that's why I'm saying grace. Are we still together? Because the other time when I say set filter and I only put this, it won't return because I don't have this. But if I have I've said number greater than what? So I can put here maybe not equal to. No, we have house. These are codes, yeah. So we know that 1000 is smaller than 2000 based on how codes are arranged. So the difference between set range and set filter is that set filter takes in expressions. Eh? In a set range, you cannot do these things I'm doing. But if you have something, I can even say I want from percent 1 to percent 2, isn't it? To percent 2, then here I specify the two variables. Percent 1 is that, percent 2 is that. What do I expect there? We have only one student in that range, isn't it? Yes. So I expect only one student. So these are filtering. So in most cases, as you are making, no, the other assignment that I was telling you, yeah, whereby somebody cannot be promoted to senior 2, don't you think you can use a set filter or a set range, whereby you first filter by that class? You first filter by that class, then you promote to another one. Do you think you can now include that? How? we can use the set range. For example, if I'm in the student table, I can set range on my class.
So that means you are going to have another
Okay,
table.
Maybe we are not yet there. Let me first leave that. But what I'm trying to tell you is that you can't, before you perform a given action, you can first filter out which records you want to maybe manipulate or modify. So we have the set range, we have the set filter. All those are very useful. So I want you to find how to use the, you also need to teach me something, how to use the get range min and get range max. Okay, this is part of your assignment. How to get range min and get range max. These are also sorting and filtering functions. Now, other functions we are going to look at are the data manipulation functions. So the data manipulation functions, I can, if I have something like this, a student dot get, what was the other name? It was 2000, yeah? 2000, like that. Now here I'm passing the actual value. Now I'm passing the actual, I'm passing the actual value. I don't need to put quotes. Is this confusing? Somebody is saying that I have to do something like this. Okay, we shall see. So after this, I'm getting that student. So if I say student dot first name is equal to, Grace, do you have another name? Or you have only two names? So if you wanted to get a third name, which name would you prefer?
Olive. She said Olive.
Olive. Is that the spelling? So I can say first name is Olive. Then I say student dot modify. So what will that one do? This is like update student where update student set first name is equal to Olive, where number is equal to. So what we've written there is update table, which is student at first name is equal to Olive over where. I don't remember these things very well. Where number is equal to. So this thing is the same as what I've written there. So if I save this and I run this, so if I go to my student table, okay, I've updated the what? The first name. So how is this useful? We shall see how that is useful, but you've seen that is modify. Then if I do something like this, I'll get rid of that. A student dot number. Do you have a number of 10,000? Then I say student dot first name is equal to student dot last name is equal to 2. Now, is it like that? Then student dot modify. Modify will not work because first of all I'm not getting. Modify, you have to first get the record. isn't it? So that you access that. But here, if you just assign and you say modify, even if that record is not there, it won't modify because it has not found anything. So here, I'm assigning my values and then I'm inserting. Do you know we can also use the with statement, isn't it?
Yes.
Like instead of repeating all these, I can say with student do begin. Then I get rid of all these. And then finally, I end. Okay. What did I miss? Yeah. Code must be integer. The code, it is a string. So I save that. So if I run my code unit, what do we expect? We expect it to insert, okay? So if I go to departments, where? Students, I have a new what? A new student that I've inserted through code. So how is this useful? There are cases whereby you want to transfer data from one table to another. You've seen the posting routine. It transfers table from the journal lanes to the GL entry table, isn't it? So there they copy and then they insert the other side. Okay? We don't insert to those tables manually. We use a search. So that's how you can do that. Should I give you an assignment on that? I want you to create a table. If somebody has finished school, how do we call those people? Sorry? Old students. So I want you to create a table for old students. And now that old student table should have the same field as your student table. And when somebody has finished school, I want you to add an action. Which name should we give that action? Finished school? Think of a name. But what I want it to do once I click that action, I want data to move from my student table to the other table, to the old student table. You get it? Yes, and you delete it. That only that student that you've transferred to the other table. You don't delete all. If you transfer one, I want you to. Yes, I want you to. You know how to add actions, eh? And we looked at the on action trigger. So your code should be under the on action trigger. You know that trigger. Yes. So once somebody clicks that, I want that the exact fields there to move to the old student table. Old student table should a table with its page, and that page should be uneditable. Even the cut page should be uneditable. I shouldn't have the new option there. That is a property on the card page. You can there's a part called insert allowed, modify allowed, delete allowed. So you turn all those properties to what? To no, so that in the old student I can't manually insert. I must have a student. The moment I click, what should be the name of that action? Graduate. Okay, we can call it graduate. The moment I click graduate, it transfers data from this table to that table. Okay. So here, it seems I'm opening a. So that is the insert. We also have the delete. So I can use, I can say student. Of course, I first get the record. Dot get. Now, by the way, if you're doing that, I don't expect you to hard code the what? This, the number. So if you're on the student table, you can use the record variable. Dot get student number, isn't it? Let me go to the. If I go to my page, student card, yeah. View, page, actions. These I can call them, these are action items. I can call this delete me. The delete is already there. I'm just doing this for testing. Then if I click on this, I can declare now a variable view call globals. This is a record of student. Oh, I don't even need to, okay, I have that record of student, but I don't need to even declare this because I'm already on this page that, and I can use my rec variable, and I get what is the student number? It is just number, eh? So I can just, I'm already on that table. I don't need to declare another variable. Then I say record dot delete. Okay. Then there's some confirmation message. I can just put a message record has been deleted. So I've created this action called delete me. So if I come to my thing here, I have actions here. Are you seeing it?
Yes.
But now on the actions, I can promote it and I move it in the home ribbon. Did you read about that? Okay, that is good. View page actions. I can come here, give it an image. I'll give it an image. Did we go through this or you read on your own? So I can, do we have an image for delete? Yes, we can give it that, an image of delete. I can say, let me promote this. I can promote it to a category, maybe process. If I want it to be big, I can set it to big. If I want it to disappear from the other action list, I can say promoted only. Okay? So if I come back here, other properties I was talking about, if I don't want people to insert in this table, which will be my archive table, I can go here on properties and I say insert allowed. I set it to what?
No.
To no. Okay, these are the properties. Modify allowed, no. Okay, I'm going to delete. If I, okay, let me say even delete allowed, the default delete to no. So I'm disorganizing your work, but you will organize it again because this is not my computer. So if I come back here to student registration and I click on students, my archive table should be grayed out here, because I've said insert allowed no. And you say I no longer have a new action. Neither do I have the delete action. The only action I have is the delete me. And it is always good if you are putting such actions, somebody may click it by mistake, isn't it? So as a good programmer, it is always good to, do you remember our confirm message? So I say if not, confirm. Do you really want? We are going to use graduate, yeah? Okay, let me set delete. Now I expect you to put that. So what is the default value? We normally put the default value to be false, yeah? So that somebody manually clicks yes. Then if I don't confirm, what should I do? Exit, okay? So the execution will automatically stop where? There. Then else it will proceed if I confirm. Okay? So if I come back here and I click on, let me just go back one step. My student table. You see, there is nothing like new, because we turned those things. So the old student should not be edited, but I shouldn't be patient to click new. So if I come here and I click delete by accident, you see the default we said is what? Was it? No, it was false, isn't it? A view page action. Because some people normally like clicking enter, enter, enter. So yeah, if you just click delete and you press enter, it will default to no. We want you to click yes. There are some problems whereby you even put another confirmation. Do you really want? Things dealing with transferring money to another account, yeah? Do you want to transfer funds to this account? You click yes. Then do you really want to, some clients say, Emma, this system is also scaring us. As if it observed an error and is not asking me. But there's some people think that it is the system telling them. They know that it is the programmer who's writing this code. Yeah. So here we shall leave this. Do you really want to delete? If I click yes, the record has been deleted. Okay. So if I come back here, was this the record? I was on a different record, yeah, but it has been deleted. So I want you to write an action that can transfer. You put it here, or that can graduate a student. What should you do? Should you first delete and then insert another table, or you should first insert and then delete? You first move and then delete. So if you do the other way around, you find that once you try now inserting, they will tell you the record does not exist. Because you first deleted. And I need it to be user friendly. I need the confirm. Okay. So we have things like modify all, we have delete all. So if time is not going to allow me to go through all of them, but if I've managed to set my range, yeah, so I can, for example, if I say set range, maybe number, and I say that I want from this to to maybe 3,000. Okay. If I do now delete all, so here I don't need to have a record name, yeah, because I'm already in the record. So if I do delete all and I save, it will delete all those students in that range. Yeah. If you want to delete only one, you can get it and then you put the delete the way we've done on this. So we also have modify all. There are scenarios whereby you want to modify given records by a given thing. So you can also set range, and after setting range, you do a modify all. So time is not allowing me to go through all of these, but I know you will try them out. Yeah, there's also a modify all. And then time is really against me, but there are things like if I want to get a flow field. So I have a value called score, and we know that this score is a flow field, isn't it? It is computed. What is it? This is not a flow. This is where I said, was it on which table was that? Where I had the. So this is a flow field, okay? Total and average mark. So if you want to access flow fields, this is the score table. If I go to this page and I view page actions, let me just add some action items, message, and then here I come and I write some code. So if I want to access was it total score? Total mark, yeah? So if I come here and I want to access this, what am I doing? And I want to access this. This is a decimal, so let me just format. Total mark is a cacheted field, isn't it? So if I try now to go to this table, I try to edit and I click on message. It is showing me 160. Maybe this is an improvement, yeah? But there are scenarios whereby if they are flow fields, you need to first calculate fields. You need to first say calculate. This works for flow fields. If you're accessing a flow field, there are scenarios whereby you won't be in position to see the value here, because this flow field is data calculated from another table. So there are scenarios whereby you need to first do a calculate fields for you to access this. And now, in case you have very many flow fields and you want the system to automatically calculate them for you, you can use the set auto calculate fields. So this will calculate for all the flow fields that you may have, total, score, all the fields that you may have, so that you are in position to use those fields. So I want you to explore these functions. We have the field error, what it does. I want you to explore the test field. Okay, test field tests for a value. Before you promote a student, maybe you want to test whether you want to find that maybe that student has a name. Okay, before you promote or before you make a student an old student, you may decide to test field. Let me just go back to the other table. It was student card. View page actions. So before you promote, let me change this to promote student or graduate student. So before you promote, because this is going to take to another table, isn't it? So you may want to first test whether there is a what? A first name. Okay? You may want to first test whether there is a first name, so that we don't transfer empty what? Empty fields, yeah? You may want to first do those tests. So that is what test field will do. So if I go back to my student table, remember it is uneditable. Do we have a student without a last name like this one? Yeah. So if I try to promote, are you seeing the error it is giving me? Are you seeing the error it is giving me? Last name must have a value. So that is the importance of a test field. So in most cases, we don't want to archive data, that we don't want to archive empty fields. So we first ensure that a user has entered everything. So I want you to perform these checks before you promote a student, or before you make a student an old student. Ensure that they have a first name, they have gender, they have that. So that can be, you may find people using if last name is equal to Blanca, then, so that is really, I know you can also achieve it through that, but if you have an inbuilt function, why not use that? So we have test field. We also have the validate function. So the validate, if I want to, I can do my if something is that, then I say validate. Validate a field which is last name, and I give it a new name. This is me. Okay, so this is the validate function. In other words, it will call the onValidate trigger. Remember, these fields have the onValidate trigger, and onValidate, that's where you're now in this call. If I say validate last name, it will call the onValidate trigger, and it will put whatever I've specified here into the last name. So if I come back here and I edit this, the moment my last name is blank, so if I click this, oh, I still have my test field, isn't it? So if I go to view page actions, oh, I don't have it. Maybe I need to first go back one step. So here I don't have last name. So if I click on this, it's going to validate. Okay, I don't know why it is not doing so. But the validate action, this validate, yeah. If I say validate last name, it will call whichever code is on the unvalidate trigger of the last name. So if I save this, I have validate what? Last name. So what this is going to do, it is going to go to the table of student. Where is that table? Of student. And then it is going to call whatever code is put here. So I can just send message. This is being called using the validate function. So I'm expecting to see this message. I'm expecting to see this message because on my action here, on this action here, I'm saying this, but I've not put this code here on this action. I'm just coding the validate last name. So, and I'll put the code on the validate of this last name. So that's why it is calling this. So in most cases, you find that when to use that validate, but that's what the validate does. It calls the code that is on validate trigger. Are we still together? So that is the validate. We've seen the error message will display an error. That one you try it out. If student name is this, then you can error a given message, Then we have date functions. There are very many date functions, but for the interest of time, let me look at one. So if I have date to date month, yeah, okay. Date to date month, yeah. So are you saying it returns a number? Are you saying that it returns? So I can come here and I say this is the number it is going to return, and it is an integer. So here, if I come to the number that is returning, I can set date to date month. Yeah. So date month, yeah. Date, the parameters are date and what? So date, I can put what? I can put today's date by saying today. Then what do I want? So I have D is 1, M is 2, year is what? Okay, D is 1, M is 2, Y is 3. So if I want to return the year, I put, are we together? I put 3. Then here I can message the year is %1, the month is %2, and the date is %3. So I'm going to have another variable for, let me say have year, month, and day. Okay. Let me declare these variables. View cal globals. I have year, month, and day. Okay. So here, if I want the year, I do like that, isn't it? If I want, I will copy this because now I'm becoming too tired. I will copy this. If I want the month, I will put what? This is date month. So I'll put 2 here, and if I want the day, I'll put 1. Let me get rid of this. Okay.
First, you create those variables.
I created them. View cal globals. They are already here. Okay. So if I come back to my action here, remember in my action I'm calling the validate what? Last name, and that's where I've put my code, isn't it? So if I come here and I click promote student, the year is 2020, the month is 9, then, so I want you to use a case statement and you return the month name, yeah? If month is 9, then that is September. So that is also an assignment for the case. I was looking for a good assignment for a case. So I want you to use the date function, the whatever, date to month. Then I want you to display the date, rather the month name. I want you to display the month name basing on that. So you put those actions up, okay? Display month, display the date, but once we are displaying, I want to see the month name. So other date functions that we have the calc date, and if you look at the parameters, text date expression, and the date expressions we can have 1D, we can have date expressions like, you looked at this in the application, we have D, month, year, Q, isn't it? So if I come here to calculate date and I say 1D, okay, it is taking a date expression and then the date, and I say today. What do I expect? I expect tomorrow. If I put 1M and I say today, yes, so for the interest time, you will just try out this. So that is the calculate date. Then other functions I want you to try out, I want you to tell me how the normal date, how to use the normal date, how to use the closing date, how to use the round method, how to use the ABS, absolute, how to use the power function, how to use the random, how to use the randomize. Okay, I want you to find out all those. I want you to find out how to use the, okay, I think for now that's okay. Then we also have system functions. I want you to stamp the user who created the student. So you can use the user ID to get the user. That is a system function. So each time you create a new student, I want you to add the field that stamps created by. So there we use the user ID. I want you to show me the company in which it was created. So there we use the company name. It is also a system function. So now our student card, we are adding the person who created the company name. We are putting this code on insert, isn't it? Then I want you to put last modified by the user, last modified by user ID. Last modified by user, that is also another field. In other words, on the onModify trigger, I want you to put that code that stamps the user who has modified the student. Then I want you also to explore the evaluate function. The evaluate function. Then finally, I want you to try lab 7.1 and exercise 1 here. There is an exercise 1 in chapter 7 and lab 7.1.
Evaluate does what?
Now that one I want you to find out. It is also a system function.
I'm saying we add it to the, do we add evaluate to the table?
You will find what it does, then you will find an appropriate place to put it.
The assignment is so
you try in chapter 7, we have lab 7.1 and also exercise number 1. So once you do those labs, this chapter 7 code functions and cow statement, you will use it. So it is better you will use it in all the applications that you develop in CAL. So it is very important that you try out those exercises, try out those functions, and understand what those functions do. So tomorrow we shall be looking at chapter 8. And chapter 8, we shall be looking at reports. Okay. Tomorrow we shall start reports. And if time allows, we can also do, tomorrow is a Friday, right? We can also do XML ports. Then over the weekend, you'll be teaching me also. I've taught you a lot. I think this code unit section, you will read it on your own. This one, I won't go through it. So chapter 10, you are reading on your own. Chapter 11, you also read on your own. Okay? This one, you are reading chapter 10 on your own. You are also reading chapter 11. Then chapter 12, you also read on your own. If I get time tomorrow, I will take you through chapter 12 because tomorrow is a Friday. But by Monday, I'll ask you, how do we use queries? How do you use? So you have to read these. Then Monday, we are starting now advanced. I don't want us to go back to these on Monday, but we shall be using them in our advanced module. So tomorrow, if time allows, I will try to look at chapter 8 reports, also chapter 9. Then over the weekend, you read those chapters I've told you. Then I may also give you an introduction to queries, but you also read on your own. And then later on, I will organize demos. Maybe this we can even do after 5 and we spare an hour, whereby you will show me how queries work. Okay? Yes, we shall organize demos. That will be next week. We shall organize demos. You show me how queries work, and you also show me even the reports. I will show you a few reports. Other reports I will also sit here and you teach me how they work. So by end of Friday, I'll be giving you another set of materials that we shall use now to develop a given application. And after next week, we shall now go to R and VS Code. That will be our third. We shall now see another different development methodology. We shall now say goodbye to Carl, and now we shall be looking at R, which is somehow also similar to R, but for it, we shall not be accessing these tables directly. We shall be writing extensions. Yeah, but we shall reach there. But you need to first understand Carl very well. Then the movement to R will be good. So that's it for today. I stayed a little bit late, because of my computer. But I think tomorrow I will try to figure it out and ahead of time before that demo. So that's it. Try out the exercises. Once you are sharing the exercises, don't share all of them at once. If you finish lab 1 or exercise 1, share it with me, both in TXT and FOB, so that I can review them individually. Those who have not submitted yesterday's exercise, please get some time and finish it and submit it. That's it for today. I wish you a good day and nice reading. Bye-bye.